Hey there, Patty Dominguez here. This is episode number 76 of the Positioning to Profit podcast. And on today's show, I had a really great question come up from a dear client of mine who was asking for some advice on when free is not a good idea. And it tied in very nicely to a boot camp that I'm running this week and last week, and it's going really well. It's the Positioning to Profit Bootcamp, and we had kind of an exchange around what it means to give something away for free as opposed to teeing things up in a way like the way that I'm doing with my bootcamp. So I will offer some perspective based on some wise, sage advice that I received once upon a time from a mentor, and I'm sharing it now with you. All right, here we go. Let's go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. All right. Well, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Positioning to Profit podcast. And in full transparency, for a hot minute, I thought, oh my gosh, I have so much going on this week. I don't know that I'm going to have time. But as always, with the exchanges that I have with people day in, day out, I mean, so many conversations around marketing, around what could be done. There's always gold in them hills around different questions that come up from my clients. And by gold in them hills, I mean the questions I get is just so amazing. So one of the questions was around this concept of, should I give something away for free? Or when is giving away something for free okay? And when is it not? All right. And I definitely have an opinion on that. And the first thing is I just really feel that having a repertoire of things that are free is a good idea, right? So say, for example, you have something that is free, like a quiz. So for example, I have positioningquiz.com where people can self-assess if their positioning is in place. And then as the results of that, they get a free report. And in that free report, they'll find out why the importance of positioning is something that you absolutely need in order to stand out and really to make your competition irrelevant. So these are the kind of things that would be a good idea. They become lead magnets, right? What's called a freemium or a lead magnet. And the other example of free I have is, for example, this very podcast that you are hearing right now is something that I put out for free, and which is really helpful, or so I think, where I'm sharing basically not only featuring people that are experts in their fields and what it is they're doing for their positioning, but then also the solo shows that I do, etc., with the intention to share how to move the needle with your positioning or how to create awareness around where some fixes are with your positioning. So where the drill sites, if you will, in your positioning. So this is another example of free. Now, one of the things that I see that happens over and over and over again is when somebody wants to offer a strategy call or a discovery call, and they pitch it as a free call. And then inevitably, what happens if you don't have a real structure to it, you may be over gifting your expertise, meaning somebody books a strategy call with you. You take the time out of your calendar to have a conversation. And please tell me that you're not spending more than 20 minutes with someone, unless, of course, it's moving into a conversation where they want to hire you for your coaching or for the services that you provide. Because what I hear a whole lot is that people get reeled in, and by people, I mean coaches get reeled in to offering these strategy calls that turn into these situations where appointments are scheduled, taking up your calendar time, and then it's turning into hour-long conversations, hour-and-a-half-long conversations. And then I say, okay, so what happened after that? Oh yeah, it was a really good conversation. She'll connect with me, or I'll get back to him, or this and that. Oh my gosh, I hate to say the word wrong, but it is wrong because you've wasted your time. And so one of the essential components of that is having a proper pre-frame. And by pre-frame, I mean, if somebody wants an exploratory call, and they don't do a whole lot of those anymore because of the way that my business is structured, but I still do them. I don't have them more than 20 minutes, no more than that. The reason is you can properly gauge how you can help someone within that time. And one of the pre-frames that I have is by having an application that somebody has to fill out in order for them to book time. And then you ask them, okay, well, how specifically can I help you? Or what's your challenge right now? How can I help you? Right? So you want to have that information going into that phone call and that conversation so that you're anchoring around that challenge that they're having. And then you can pretty much present your offer, your services, etc., so that it can meet that pain point that that particular prospect is having. But in 20 minutes, you really are the one at the helm of that conversation and should have the ability to tee things up properly and saying, hey, Jane, thank you so much for booking this call. It's really awesome to connect with you. And I want to thank you also for filling out that application. And in that application, you kind of stress the importance of how you're not really finding that the message that you have is connecting. Is that right? Yes, it is. And so how's that going for you? What else have you tried? And so you're really exploring around this concept that in this fictitious example, Jane has around why she's not hitting the mark, right? And I know that I can help someone in that situation. So within that 15-minute mark, you can pretty much assess what offer it is you're going to make, because here's the thing. You want to make sure you have your offers ready for the taking. You should not hang up that call unless you have an offer ready for them to hear about, right? And so within that 15-minute mark, you basically say, okay, great. I have a really strong grasp to what it is or how I can help you. So then you go into how you can help them, okay? And then you ask them questions. So how does this sound? Or on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you in terms of, being serious about changing this in your life or in your business, etc., on a scale from 1 to 10, because that'll tell you where somebody's at from their framing, right? If they say I'm a 6, well, they're not serious. But if they say I'm at an 8, okay, well, how do we get you to a 10? Because I only work with people that are ready. So is that you? So these are the kind of things that, even though it's a free call, it's leading up to something that's significant for you. Alternatively, is being on the phone with someone for an hour, giving away all your coaching, letting it go where somebody basically got a free session with you, as opposed to having that proper pre-frame where you're really containing the conversation around how you can help them, as opposed to giving away your talent and expertise and the whole thing. Very different, because in that, when you're giving it all away, is like you're basically sharing all of the how and you're listening to them, and it becomes this whole therapy session, as opposed to that pre-frame for 20 minutes. What can I do for you in 20 minutes? How specifically can I help you? And then you framed it up that way. Okay, so that's the difference when we talk about free. Another example is, and my dear client friend, Karen had said to me, she's like, okay, well, you say don't give stuff away for free. Well, what about the boot camp that you're hosting, Patty? And I said, yep, that is a phenomenal question. So I have a boot camp that's running right now. It's the Positioning to Profit Bootcamp. It's over in Facebook, and it's for 2 weeks. And it is great content that people can deploy. I'm covering the 5 strategies to bulletproof your business in 2021. So it's chock full of really great concepts that I'm sharing. Now, the deal is, yes, technically the content is free, but day 1 of the bootcamp, I basically pre-framed it and telling them, okay, here's the bootcamp. Here's what I'm going to cover. This is my promise. What I'm going to cover these 5 strategies. And at the end of this, I will be making an offer. Okay. I tell them straight away, I will be making an offer. And so whether you buy from me or not, regardless, this information is going to help you. So I'm removed from the outcome, meaning if they don't buy, I'm okay with it. If they buy, fantastic. It's because it's a good fit and the resonance is there. But the difference here is that I have pre-framed it right from the beginning that I will be making an offer. It is not a surprise. I'm not kind of sideswiping them out of nowhere with some kind of, bait and switch type of strategy. I don't do that. And so when you are doing those types of events like challenges and things like that, let them know that you're going to be making an offer. And there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe it may even seem uncomfortable at the beginning, but the truth is you want to be responsible and in integrity with the way that you're positioning things for them so that everyone is singing off the same page and is clear around where things are headed. If somebody gets offended with the fact that you made an offer, has a lot to do with them and really nothing about you. It's their interpretation on what it means to have some kind of an offer. Like, how dare you ask me for money? Because that's happened before where somebody gets offended when you've made an offer. Well, that's on them. That is literally nothing to do with you. Okay. That's their head junk that they're dealing with. So that's really the difference when you have something like a challenge or a boot camp. Yes, I'm giving away a lot of really great information. Yes, it is technically for free, but the pre-frame going into it is that I will be making an offer. So it's not completely free. If this is something that you've been guilty of, where you're just giving away all of your talent and expertise without being properly compensated, or wondering why it is that you're just not hitting the mark when you're having these discovery calls or strategy calls, whatever it is that you call them. So again, my tip on those, I wouldn't do them for more than 20 minutes. So if you need help with your business, you should most definitely check out prolificcafe.com. prolificcafe.com. That is a membership that I have. Again, right now I'm running a boot camp and I just opened the doors to Prolific Cafe. So if you're listening to this, definitely check it out because I'm going to be including some perks in there for people that jump in this go around that you're absolutely going to love. So again, prolificcafe.com. And with that, thanks for checking out this episode and let me know what you think about it. You can always find me on socials at Patty Dominguez _. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on all of them. So please connect with me over there. And with that, just so you know, your message matters, and I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Thank you so much for checking out the Positioning to Profit podcast. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new episodes. And also, it would mean the world to me if you would take a quick moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast player. It really helps to get the word out about the podcast and, of course, the featured guests. And lastly, please make sure to connect with me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm on all of them, and use hashtag positioning to profit so that I can search you out and connect that way too. All right. Thanks so much. See you next time.